Good afternoon, YouTube. We are live for the final day here of June. Today's lovely Friday, June 28th, 2019. This marks the final trading day of June. Wow, how quickly June flew by. Great trading month for us. Into the later stages of the month is when we really started to see summer trading volatility kind of jumping into the market, or rather coming into the markets. However, beginning of the month was quite volatile on the back of the China-US trade war tensions. We had US-Mexico tariffs, so a lot of stuff, a lot of drivers in the beginning of the month. As we're coming into the end of the month, at the moment, the US-Mexico tariff deal was basically agreed upon, so that gave newfound optimism to the markets. This China-US trade war, it was a bit sour to start the month, but coming into the latter stages of the month, we had Trump going on record saying he's willing to delay some of the tariffs on some of the Chinese imports later on into later June, even pushing it out into July. So just showing a willingness to kind of compromise, if you will, and delay some of the stuff. Gave the market a little bit of optimism. And now with this G20 meeting going on, a lot of eyes, a lot of investors, a lot of traders will be looking and will be focused on what the results of that meeting are going to be. I've seen a squawk here from CNBC's Kayla Tausch mentioned that one White House official does expect some sort of China trade truce ultimately from the Xi-Trump meeting. And just little things like this you can expect to hear quite a bit of until that meeting actually happens on Saturday. And I think that's what traders are kind of going to be waiting for the remainder of today's session. There's no more economic releases scheduled for today's session. We did have a couple of figures come in. We did have May PCE core month-over-month figure came in at 0.2% versus 0.2 expected, right in line with expectations. Year-over-year figure came in at 1.6 versus 1.5 expected. U.S. May personal income came in at 0.5 expected, or 0.5% versus 0.3 expected. Personal spending 0.4 versus 0.5 expected. The main number here today was the June Chicago Purchasing Managers Index. That came in at 49.7 versus 53.5 expected. That was the lowest reading since February of 2016, and we did see a pretty nice little dump on the back of that. However, for the majority of the session, it's been pretty choppy on the SPOOs, to be quite honest. Relatively quiet day. What else do we have? That's basically it. June final University of Michigan confidence 98.2 versus 97.9 expected. Inflation expectations tick up. So that's it. Also from China President Xi, China's pledge to open up is not an empty promise. So again, you are seeing both sides kind of given some sense of hope, some sense of optimism for a truce leading into this meeting on the weekend. So that's what we got as far as economic drivers. As far as the remainder of the session, like I mentioned, no real economic events scheduled. We do have Baker Hughes rig count coming out at 1 p.m. So for the crude traders, that might be of interest to you guys. But as far as the equities are concerned, not too much happening on that front. So let's jump into the quote board quick. It's going to be a relatively short one today. SPOOs, wow, 530,000 contract. This thing is half of what average volatility. Average is around 1 million to 1.5 million. And, this is not even up there. Just looking at this, I would say take the rest of the day off and come back and hit this thing strong on Monday. That's my recommendation, my advice. Of course, this is not actual financial advice. We're not, legal jargon. We're not able to give you guys, we're not registered financial advisors. Do not take this as financial advice. But that being said, with only 530,000 contracts at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it's better to just walk away than try to frustrate yourself trying to pick off 2 points at a time here and just take the weekend off. So that's what we got on SPOOs. liquidity drain there, nothing too interesting. Crude oil as well, kind of boring as well. 350,000 contracts. That one we see on average 450 to 500. So both of our assets relatively quiet today, and kind of expecting this on the back of the G20 meetings coming in. I feel like a lot of traders are going to be waiting to see what the results of that meeting are. So we're not going to get too much direction into the close. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm reading at the moment. And volume's kind of telling me the same story, not really looking for much into the close. So that's what we got on there. As far as our pivot charts, crude consolidating in that range still between the S1 and the R1. Pivot's been sliced and diced between, so not really considering that a good level of resistance or support, just kind of playing the extremes. Upside extreme comes in around your R1 5980. Downside extreme comes in at 5870. You can look to try picking them up here, look to try selling them from up there. That's all I'd be doing on crude. SPOOs, back up at the R1. This has been a level of supply, but each time it's came back into it, we've been seeing higher lows coming off of those tests. Pressed off of that today, couldn't quite get down into the lower end of the range. We're back at R1. We'll see what happens. It could still hold and roll over. Kind of might be seeing that for today's session. Again, volume is relatively low, so don't really expect too much going on. If we do get a breakout, R2 is probably where we're going to head, around those 2950s. And that kind of lines up with this zone and where those offers are sitting at the moment. So that's what we got on the crude charts, or rather the pivot charts. Crude oil, just kind of discussed what I'm seeing. Overall, big range forming between these two zones. Look to sell the upside of that range, look to buy the downside while we're in this consolidation. We are coming out of a bullish trend. So that being said, you should expect your supports to hold more than you would expect your resistances to hold. So again, prefer picking up longs near support than shorting, but you still have those options, on both of these markets. S&P 500, same story, right at resistance, big level of resistance here. It's been holding the market down since, what day was this? 625. That was Tuesday, I believe. Yep, Tuesday. So that was Tuesday, and markets held below that level since Tuesday. Do we get the buy stop release above that today? Maybe. We are making a press at that level. Offers are stepping up. Volumes showing a little bit of a pickup, but overall on the session, very weak volume. So as far as taking breakouts on the first attempt, that's not the game plan for today. If anything, wait for a rotation from that breakout. And then look to pick it up near the lower ends of structure for that move up higher. That's really the game plan. If you will be trading remainder of the session, personally, I will not. I'm going to be taking, the rest of the pretty much an early weekend from the markets, not from work. But that's essentially what it is. So let's finish the sucker off with our TradePro Performance Index. Closed out the month here. Nice bounce back today. 71.43% of the room was green. Overall, I'd say we're probably in the neighborhood of mid 60s, which has been kind of on pace with average. 66 that month, 67, 64, 67. So yeah, just about on pace. We've been, mid to high 60s has been the team's overall average throughout the month, which is great because none of the head traders here, neither myself, nor George, nor Victorio, nor Steven, nor David, do we participate in these polls. These are all the community members. And what this is showing you is a honest and transparent look at what the team is accomplishing. And you can see we do have some days where we struggle, but the majority of the time, the community does well, and a good part of the majority does well as well. So with that being said, that's what it looks like. We look to start July on a strong note. As mentioned to our team, it is a national holiday here in Canada on the first, Canada Day, and I know that U.S. markets will enjoy, observance of the market holiday on the 4th to celebrate July 4th. So that's going to be everything for me. I'm seeing SPOOs. There's the breakout now, and that's about it. So just jump back onto the camera here for you guys as we sign off for this weekend. It's been a great week for the room. A lot of the members doing well. A lot of the members showing really great progress over the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so. And really, really encouraged by those results and what I'm seeing from you guys. So until next time, this is a sign off. Take care, guys. Good luck and good trading. If you will be trading to the remainder of the session, you know the 3 rules: patience, diligence, and discipline. Take care.